Okay, I'll call the October 8th Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Just so you'll know, we'll do the Zoning Board of Adjustment hearing first, and then this board will also sit as the Sign Board of Appeals, and we'll take up any sign board issues on the agenda after that time. All right, let me call the roll. Syed.
Here.
Vice Chair D. Camerman.
Here.
Chair Frank Carroll's here. Board Member Richard Valerio.
Here.
Board Member Dan Shadle.
Here.
And Board Member Michael Deacon.
Here.
All right. If you will, all stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The first item on our agenda tonight is the approval of some past board minutes, and we will take those individually. Item 1A is the approval of the April 10th, 2018 ZBA minutes. Is there any comment or corrections on those minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion from Board Member Valerio and a second from Vice Chair Camerman. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. All right, the second item for approval is are the minutes of the August 15, 2018 Zoning Board of Adjustment. I think everybody's had a chance to read those. Is there any changes that anybody wants to propose to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion
I
approved.
move.
We have a motion approved from Board Member Shadle. Do we have a
And
second?
I'll second.
Second from Vice Chair Camerman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And the last item, number 1C, is the approval of the minutes of the October 9th, 2018 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting. Assuming everyone's had a chance to read these minutes, is any changes proposed? Anyone make any changes in those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move that we approve.
Okay, we have a motion from Vice Chair Camerman. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from Board Member Valerio. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries unanimously. All right, the second item on our agenda is a public hearing involving a request for a variance to Section 3.24G of the regulations of the Land Development Code of the City of Colleyville, specifically dealing with the lot coverage requirements and a request to exceed those lot coverage requirements by the applicant. I will ask Ms. Ruth, if she will, to present the case for the City of Colleyville, and then just so you'll know how we proceed, after that, I will ask the applicants if they have anything they want to say or present, and then we will open a public hearing for anyone who wants to make any comments. We'll close the public hearing. The commission will discuss the request, and then we'll normally take a vote at that time. During the course of these proceedings, there may be questions posed to the applicant, to citizens who testify, as well as to the city staff by the members of the board up here. So with that said, Ms. Reif, let me turn it over to you.
Good evening, thank you. This is case VC 19003. It is a request to exceed the maximum lot coverage for the property located at 2411 Hawthorne Avenue. This is an aerial map that shows its location off of Hawthorne Avenue and Braden Lane in the Layton Grove subdivision. It is zoned R20, single-family residential district, and the future land use map does indicate that to be residential, which it is. This is a pictometry picture that shows you the area of the house on the lot, as well as the pool, and the area of what the applicant would like to do this evening. So the area of improvement to put an open-air trellis that would exceed the lot coverage. Because it's zoned R20, the maximum lot coverage in the R20 zoning is 30%. The proposal tonight is to exceed that an additional 2.23% or 454 square feet for an open-air trellis. This is the site plan that shows the location on the lot. The existing home's footprint would only allow for a 303 square foot open-air trellis in this case to meet the 30% lot coverage. So the total size of the structure would be 757 square feet, but to get there, they're asking for the ability to go over that maximum lot coverage. They did include a landscape plan to show that they will be adding landscaping around the location of the open-air trellis. And then this exhibit does show how it would be constructed and the materials. And this is just kind of an up-close again of that open-air trellis. It does meet the setbacks, and it does meet the height requirements for a structure like this. It's just the size of it would put it over that maximum lot coverage for that zoning district that they're in. And these are the photos that have been provided by the applicant of their property there. You can, on the corner, you can see the pool. And then this is just verbiage and information from the Land Development Code that discusses a variance. If you need me to read it, I can, or I can just keep going. Keep going?
And you don't need to read it to us,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. And then this was our notification map. We mailed notifications to property owners within 500 feet of this property. And staff did receive 2 different properties, 2 different letters for each property. So a total of 4 letters, but it's really 2 letters of opposition based on the properties located in this area. And those have been included in your packet, as well as we received a couple letters after the packet, which is you received this evening.
Ms. Reeve, while we have that last one up there, on the letters that we received objecting, are those the 2 adjoining properties?
They are.
Okay, thank you.
And in summary, staff is recommending denial of the request because it doesn't meet the technical requirements of the Land Development Code. If approved, the variance will apply to the lot as presented unless modified by the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Ms. Reeve? If not, is there anyone here from the applicant who would like to speak? All right, if you will come up, state your name and your address, and stand close to the microphone so we can all hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tom Pritchett, landscape architect, address 1218 Camino Lago, Irving, Texas. Registered landscape architect in Texas. This property is in Layton Grove, and actually David Mintahari is the owner and builder of the home, and that was in 2019, 2020, or 2000. And I was actually the landscape architect on the house at that time, and probably about over 50 of the homes in Layton Grove. They're working at that time. And so basically, you know, with just a little discussion about the need for this project outside, is that in 2000, no one was building outdoor kitchens on their homes. There was a little 10-foot patio, 8-foot patio, maybe a barbecue. And so now the needs for people, the lifestyles, is we had a swimming pool to begin with. It's been renovated, updated, and we need an outdoor kitchen and fireplace and eating area for the family to now bring their grandkids home and have an outdoor space to congregate other than in a little shed edge of the house. So we did provide a landscape plan. Do you mind, can you just, there it is. Fantastic. On the south side of the property, we're doing a row of Nellie R. Stevens. It's going to be 8 to 10 foot tall. They're, I think, 65 gallon or so size. So they'll be totally screened from that view. We've got palm trees going in, and actually we also have them on the east side, or the west side, which is up. So that's totally screened from the neighbors. We've got some large trees we're putting in the yard, and we're also doing paving around the pool, which is shown with grass strips between. So the water will go through the grass strips, and the building is actually set 10 feet off the back property line, and that back property is a drainage utility and easement, electrical easement. So we can't build in it, but that's designed by the engineers to handle all our drainage, okay, from the lot, going under the wall, across the driveway, and out to the street. So there's no drainage onto any other lot. David built a wall, stone wall. He got a permit to build a stone wall inside the wood fence. So it's totally secure of no off-site drainage. And stone wall, you know, not that, you know, David's a very quiet man. I've known him for now almost 20 years, and his wife and kids, and very quiet family. But so it'll be protected visually. You can't see through the wall, you know, so there's not any activity. He's not going to disturb any neighbors. And we'll have a fireplace and ceiling fans and sinks. And then the elevations of the structure is going to be basically concrete block with travertine veneer stone on it, and it'll have a flat wood roof trellis with 2x4s every like 16, 18 inches across. So light will come in, and any rain will come in, you know, and then just drain out the driveway. There'll be a sink and a cooking area. On the west side, kind of showing of the trellis area, you'll see that there's along the cooking area, it's a solid wall up to 10 feet of the structure. So there's no lighting that's going to go to the neighbor from, you know, lights in the structure, because it's a wall that we're using for a TV on that wall. And so trying to describe what we're providing, and it's going to be elegant. And the paving will all be travertine, tumbled travertine. So this is, we've designed it to really meet their needs. We've shrunk it down to meet the setbacks, and we've kept the height that the city requests. And we'd like to request your approval of this, consideration and approval of this tonight, so we can go forward and build this and finish off the backyard for the
Hey,
Mid-to-Hardee's.
thank you, Mr. Pritchard. Does any member of the board have any questions for Mr. Pritchard?
I do.
Please.
Now, let's go back to the pool. Is that an original pool, like built 20 years ago or something?
Yes,
And we're
it
just redoing the areas around?
Tile, plaster, you know, how you typically redo a pool. They had that going on, last year or so, and they added some fire pits. We're trying to update it, you know, and back in those days, in 2000, a pool with just plain concrete coping was it, you know, and there was a spa, so we've updated it with new materials.
So really, the new part is what you're talking about. The picture I'm looking at is the one with all the graphic.
Right, that picture is showing the existing pool with nothing in the backyard. When David built the house, he had a detached structure. If you go back to, do you have the other photograph we provided?
Yeah, I don't know which page it's on.
Yeah, we tore it down to build this other structure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see it to the left picture. There is a structure back there that was permitted with the house, had tile roof. It wasn't big enough for anything, you know, so we tore that down, and that was about, you know, 279, 300 feet big. And so then we cleared out the whole backyard. In the next picture, you can see it's all cleared out. And
Okay.
that's where it's existing today.
So then when I look at this picture, I think it was the next picture. Who's controlling the computer? She is? That one. So what we're talking about is, this one's pointing to it. So it's all that area, and why can't it be, since it's not built yet, why can't it be moved so it would fit within that? In other words, are we too close to the boundary line?
No, we're within the setbacks the city gives us. There's a 10-foot setback on the south side because
In
it's
other words,
utility
the facility is too big.
No, the facility it has 7 feet from the west property line, which is the setback, and it's 10 foot 6 inches from the house, which is a fire code setback. So we're not asking for a structure that's larger. In fact, as a detached building in the city of Colleyville, On this lot, you would be allowed to build an 817 square foot detached building under the 4% rule, okay, of size. And we're asking only for 757, but we're really only asking for 454 extra square feet.
But what I'm hearing is we have to add that to what's already there. And so therefore, if you made this smaller, you wouldn't be here tonight.
That's right, if we could live within a 303 square foot it's just not gonna be big enough for the facility that we wanna have for the outdoor kitchen. Their back patio's not big enough as it was built to actually have an outdoor kitchen with tables and chairs and a outdoor fireplace. So we're actually, instead of a covered structure, which is like all the rain comes off and drainage and all that and goes in, we're building an open air structure. So it's not as such a, let's say, it doesn't have a pitched roof.
Right.
We could build a 300 square foot structure with a pitched roof, maybe 28 feet high, okay? If we, whether we really wanted to go back to what, a really pitched roof. I'm just saying that, and still within the code. So we were trying to keep a low structure with a trellis that is just to give shade, because we know what angle the sun's at and where their boards are, so it'll be shaded at the
Well, I
top.
understand about being in the code, but also part of the code is that it can only be 30%. So what I'm saying is, if you really want the Suburban, but all you can afford is the Tahoe, how come you didn't try to work out Plan B just in case?
Well, it's
That's not the point of it, okay.
that, you're asking a good question, I
Yeah.
understand that, but that's not really the fallback position that's why we're here tonight, to ask
Yes.
for this request, because we would like to have a table out there to dine on, a sitting area around the fireplace, and a bar top eating area.
But otherwise, we do fit within all our codes.
Yes.
Okay.
Height, setbacks, health and safety codes, fire codes, electrical code, so we're gonna meet all those. And so it's really just and we're actually screening and adding provided a wall to screen to the neighbor's view of if they wanna, see lights or whatever. So, it's just one of those things that that's why there's variances in cities. That's why the code's written for a variance. You can come in and ask for a certain percent or a certain amount. Many cities allow, a variable, they know what they've granted in the past to other citizens. And for us to come in and apply for a request for a variance within those parameters which you've given other citizens, just because of a 30% code, just because of 30%, let's say, cutoff, doesn't take into consideration how people live, possibly, that they need to live on a corner lot, kind of situation. So there's all kinds of factors that come into zoning law and cases that you have a little flexibility. That's why y'all are here, to give us flexibility to really go 2% over the coverage and have a facility that, goes with the scale of the house, scale of the pool, feels like an environment. I do a lot of high-end resorts, a lot of high-end estates, and they don't come into me to say, let's put a doghouse over here. So we really want to have something nice.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Pritchett. Any further questions from any other of the board members? Okay, thank you, Mr. Pritchett. Is anybody else that wants to speak on behalf of the applicant and the application? Okay, if not, then I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wants to speak with respect to the application as a member of the public? Having no one here, I will then. Oh, all right. If somebody wants to speak, please come up, give us your name and your address, and we're happy to hear from you.
My name is Patricia Morgan. My address is 2308 Hawthorne Avenue in Colleyville. I live down Hawthorne Avenue. I think I was just the bare part of the circle. I'm also the president of the board of the Layton Grove Homeowners Association. And I'm not here tonight to argue anybody's agenda. However, I just want to put it out there that Mr. Murdo Harry is a member of our Homeowners Association. He has every right to build what he wants as long as it's within code and within the HOA regulations. And I just personally do not see why he has to fill up the rest of his yard with cement when all these pavers were put in, as far as we know, did you get a permit for redoing the pool? Does that require a building permit?
Yeah, what I did.
And just redid it? Okay. Well, I know we had, the way I got involved in this is because in April of 2018, the neighbors had made me aware that there was some building going on in the backyard, and it did not appear that there'd been any building permit set, applied for or granted. So I had to go knock on the door, and yes, they'd poured a lot. The footing for the facility that he wanted to build without a permit, without any notice to the HOA. He was very cooperative. It took a long, long time for that to get resolved. It took probably at least 6 months between me and his assistant in trying to work out how we were going to work out the fence things, because he wanted to put the fence up there. The fence looks fine. It's within our code. Only problem I have with the fence is the part that was supposed to be that you can look into the yard from the street past the apron of his garage, which is looking into his backyard. I can see where, when you have a corner lot, you have some issues with privacy. But his assistant and I had agreed that that would have to be shrubbery. That was what the HOA requirements were. Well, I don't go down on that end of the block very often, but instead of shrubs, they've continued the masonry fence all the way across this apron with an iron gate into the yard. We didn't make a big deal of it with the HOA. It looked okay. At a personal level, I'd rather not see in his yard. So we did not make a big deal about it. I just have a question whether any plans tend to get tweaked during construction, and I understand that. But from what I understand about this fencing thing and the tweaks he made, they were not permitted. Some of them were not permitted, and some of them are still outstanding on being able to sign off on the final permit for the fence, is what I'm told by the city. I haven't trespassed on Mr. Murder's property to check this stuff out, haven't gone in and taken pictures, haven't tried to do anything. But that's what I know as a neighbor and as the HOA president.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if not, is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak at the public hearing? Hearing no one else, I'll close the public hearing. And let me ask I guess, Mr. Pritchard, if you'll come back up. Mr. Pritchard, I want to be sure that everybody understands the power of this board and what its limits are. And it's not to grant variances simply because it's more convenient for somebody to have a bigger whatever it is or a longer whatever it is. The statute is very clear as to what we can do. And I'm going to come to why I'm asking this, why I'm telling you this. We only can grant variances where the literal enforcement of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship, and where the variance is necessary to permit a specific parcel of land which differs from other parcels in the same district by reason of area, shape, or slope. Now, I didn't hear anything at all about any of those requirements when you were talking earlier. So if you would, please, sir, tell me what the unnecessary hardship is. Tell me what the differences are in slope and in area and in shape from this piece of property to any other piece of property in the whole subdivision.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. It is a corner lot, has 2 front yards all the way around the side, so it kind of compacts the house on the lot. And the setbacks are wider on those sides. The 30% is restricting the use of their backyard as for shade for a structure. So it's an environmental thing. It's pleasure, you know, getting sunburn or not getting sunburn when you're in your yard. So there's a difficulty there. The family has an extended family, grandchildren, and they'd like to have their family come over and be able to sit outside on furniture in the shade. So it's another, you know, environmental issue. I think there's some aesthetics of sitting in your yard and looking at a fireplace over a wood fence. Now, Mr. Matahari actually did get a permit on the wall that he built. So I got the permit drawings done, and they were permitted. Now, if there's something that hasn't been approved, we're not aware of it. It's been built for quite a while now, and we've not heard of any issue with the city on that. So that was permitted. And in terms of, there's no economic things, but it is again, it's a request for a massing that's going to be aesthetic to scale, and we're kind of caught against that 30% concept number. And so that's why we're requesting 2% increase in the allowable square foot, which we think is modest, a small, modest amount. Or we wouldn't be here. I mean, if we were asking for 20,000 square foot or something, you know, it'd be, you know, and so
All right.
that answer your question.
It does. Thank you, Mr. Pritchett.
Thank
Does anyone else have any questions of Mr. Pritchett while he's up here? Okay, thank you very much, sir. If not, I'll open the question for discussion. Any comments, thoughts by the board members? If not, then it would be appropriate to have a motion, and the motion can be either to approve the request for a variance as submitted, or with alterations or amendments, or to deny the request. So would anyone care to make a motion?
Make a motion to deny the request.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Valerio to deny the request. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a second from Commissioner Syed to deny the request. Is there any further discussion? All right, then I will call for the vote. Commissioner Syed, and the vote is, if you vote yes, that means you're voting to deny the requested variance. So, Commissioner Syed.
My vote is yes.
All right. Commissioner Valerio.
Yes.
Vice Chair Cameraman.
Yes.
Commissioner Shadle.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The motion and request for a variance is denied. We thank you for your time and participation in the proceedings. And I believe that is the only matter that we have left. So do I have a motion to adjourn the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting?
Have a motion to adjourn?
We have a motion, a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Valerio. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is sustained, and the ZBA is adjourned. It will take a few minutes for our staff to get ready for the Sign Board of Appeals, so we will take about a 5 to 10 minute recess until they're ready, and then we'll come back and convene the Sign Board of Appeals meeting. Thank you very much.